Well, the shooting in Texas has reignited the ongoing debate over gun control legislation. In 2019, the Marquette Law School poll showed 80% of Wisconsin voters supported expanding background checks on firearm sales.
And a recent CBS News poll found 54% of Americans want laws covering the sale of guns made more strict. 30% said gun laws should be kept where they are, and 16% want them to be less strict. The poll was conducted after the mass shooting in Buffalo, New York 9 days ago, and before the mass shooting yesterday in Uvalde, Texas.
Also today, a Marquette Law School poll released looking at the public opinion of the U.S. Supreme Court and other topics. Charles Franklin is the director of the Marquette Law School poll, and he's here with us in person.
Lots to talk to you about. Hi, Charles.
Good afternoon.
Well, let's start with the Supreme Court poll that you did. I mean, this sort of flip-flopped.
Yes, well, approval of the court fell by 10 percentage points. This is in the wake of the release of the draft opinion overturning Roe versus Wade. Support or opposition to Roe didn't change at all, but the polarization on that issue changed dramatically. Democratic approval of the court down 23 points, but Republican approval of the court up a few points. Independents down a little bit too.
I think we have the numbers that we can can show that specifically. What else did you ask regarding the court?
So we asked about that. We asked about the 15-week ban on abortions that the Mississippi law is presenting to the court. Opinion on that is evenly split, even as nearly 70% oppose overturning Roe. I think it's 69% oppose overturning it, and only 30% support the 6-week ban in the Texas law that is quite strict about abortion law. So what we're seeing is no change in opinion about the issue, but dramatic increases in polarization in terms of people's views of the court on this issue.
And the last time you polled about background checks, it was a couple of years ago, but it was like 80% of people want them expanded?
Here in Wisconsin, it's overwhelming, I think is an appropriate term to use. Over 70% on background checks and on red flag laws. Two proposals that have not moved any in legislation here in the state, but where there are just very large majorities and majorities across the population. You cited that CBS poll, which is also a good example of public opinion which favors these kinds of laws. But in fact, more states have been expanding access to guns, not contracting that. Georgia, which voted yesterday, just voted to passed a law allowing people to carry concealed weapons without a permit.
They're considering that in Wisconsin, aren't they?
And it's been proposed here in the state, though it is not, I don't think, come to the governor's desk. I think the issue here is we've seen a lot of states moving to allow concealed carry without a license, but in our national poll, just 19% favor that, even though 62% favor licensed concealed carry. So this is the issue. There's substantial two-thirds support almost for concealed carry with a license, but only less than 1 in 5 that support it without a license. The Supreme Court, being a busy group these days, is set to rule on whether the Second Amendment permits carrying a weapon outside the home as well, and that would be an expansion to a constitutional right, whereas these other laws are state laws that individual states have passed, and which honestly are a lot more permissive than what a narrow interpretation of the Second Amendment today says.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Charles, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
See you soon. Thank you, Charles.